Now on 10 Tampa Bay, recovering from Hurricane Milton. Live team coverage starts now.
Hurricane Milton leaving behind a massive path of destruction across the state of Florida. The storm made landfall on Wednesday night near Siesta Key as a powerful Category 3.
Yeah, families now returning home, finding damage left behind. You're watching a special edition of 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Frank Wiley.
And I'm Courtney Robinson. We do have live team coverage of Milton's impact tonight, from damage to our coastline to river flood warnings in effect in multiple counties, and gas stations, of course, limited on fuel or without. But first, as recovery efforts are happening right now, we are staying on top of 3 things you need to know. Hurricane Milton is now blamed for at least 16 deaths, 6 of them in the Tampa Bay area, 2 in St. Petersburg, 2 in Tampa, 1 in Polk County, and 1 in Citrus County.
Right now, Florida drivers, of course, having a tough time finding gas. As of this morning, almost 75% of gas stations in the Tampa-St. Pete area without ports, more than 50% of stations are out. And right now, our free 10 Tampa Bay app has all the resources you need, so you can find the closest place to get the gas you need.
And this afternoon, there are flood warnings across the Bay Area as rivers and lakes rise following impacts from Hurricane Milton. Pasco, Hernando, and Hillsborough counties warn that you could get flooding from nearby rivers and lakes. Pasco has voluntary evacuations in place right now.
And to get to higher ground. 10 Tampa Bay's Hannah Deneen joining us live in Pasco County. And Hannah, those communities definitely concerned about impacts from river flooding.
Warning from Pasco officials is stern. This water is still rising quickly, and they're asking you to get out now if you live or work in an area that sees flooding from rivers or lakes in across Pasco County. So we're in Elfers tonight, and I want to show you this. We're near the intersection of 54 and 7 Springs Boulevard. This is a shopping plaza some people might be familiar with. There's a Papa John's here. Also, that's the parking lot of Crunch Fitness that looks like a lake straight ahead of us. This is also an area that has a lot of neighborhoods nearby. We're hearing that many of those neighborhoods are seeing significant flooding right now. Pasco County, they've been doing non-stop high water rescues since yesterday morning because of flooding just like this from the lakes and rivers. Now, this is historic flooding in the county with we are roughly 0.3 miles from the Anclote River that's in this direction that we're showing you here. And it is well above a major flood stage right now at more than 26 feet, according to NOAA. That's the Anclote River. Now, Pasco officials tonight, they are urging you to stay off the roads. If you do need to be out driving, they're warning you that many of these streets are closed down because of the flooding tonight, and you will have to navigate around those safely. If you do see those flooded roadways, again, the message from them, as always, do not drive along those flooded roadways. In Elvers, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Hannah, thank you. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was out yet again this morning. This time, they were helping people get out of floodwaters from the rising Alafaya River.
10 Tampa Bay's Angelina Salcido is in Hillsborough County live for us right now. And Angie, there are more people who are at risk this afternoon.
And they really weren't expecting for the water to get this high, right? Right now we're on Lithia, Pinecrest Road, and Lynx Paw Terrace, and we're with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office as they continue to try and rescue people who may be stuck in these high waters. Just to give you guys some perspective, the Alafaya River is about a mile that way. Okay, so this water has come to levels that we really weren't expecting. Take a look at this. You're going to see some homes in the distance, also some boats as well. All of these neighborhoods have been consumed with water, and that's why the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is out here doing these rescues, bringing in their boats, and they're also being supplemented by other resources from the National Guard and from the Army as well. Now, Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Cronister joins me now. I know that what this effort has looked like for you all.
Yeah, it's been an all hands on deck. Some sheriffs around the state have sent us resources. A great thing that sheriffs take care of sheriffs in that time of need. Governor's been great. What do you need? And this is all hands on deck. When you talk about these types of storms, there's always adverse effects. It could be wind damage, which we still have a lot of people with that power. Storm surge, we didn't get that. We were fortunate. That's deadly. You know, that's where you lose people's lives. But we have flooding, and it's equally as damaging. And the dilemma is storm surge will come in and go. flooding when we got 16 inches of rain from around this huge county. Now Mother Nature does a good job in getting rid of it, but it has to get to the point where it's gone to the rivers and out into the bay, and unfortunately this is a result of it.
I know that you guys rescued a 91-year-old woman this morning who was stuck in her home. That's just one of the stories of many. What are you hearing from people that are having to be rescued? I know that they're used to stuff like this, but they really weren't expecting something like this to happen so quickly.
Yeah, these are people they've flooded before, maybe a couple feet, 2-3 feet, not 4, 5, 6 feet, and more importantly, not so quickly. You know, we were listening to somebody that was telling us how they had to evacuate. They went to bed last night at 1 o'clock in the morning. He said he had no water. He's standing in his front yard. He has 6 feet of water in his yard now. He's woke up didn't know it was going to be that fast, so people had to leave really quickly, and then that's when we were here, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, started the rescues and kept sending more and more resources to help people get to safety and get to dry land.
Can you give me a range of how many rescues you guys have done so far and what you're thinking it's going to look like as the day continues?
Yeah, they've told me it's over 200 rescues that we've done.
More than 200 rescues that they have completed. We know Sheriff Chad Chronister has been busy, as have all the officials across the Bay Area.
We had some technical difficulties with Angelina Schott, and we'll work to get her back in a little bit. Several counties are reopening these sandbag locations amid this river flooding. The counties are opening sites in Pasco County, Hernando County, and Citrus County. So depending on where you go, you may have to take your own shovel. You can find exact locations as well as when these sites are open. We have those posted for you right now. They're on the free 10 Tampa Bay app. And as you are trying to get home to assess damage left behind from Hurricane Milton, it is going to be a long road to recovery.
Yes, it will. And as we roll ahead, this is what we're talking about, because a gas shortage right here in the Bay Area, definitely making it tough for people to get around. And our own Miguel Octavio joining us in front of a gas station. I imagine you had to fight traffic to get in there because people are struggling to even top off.
And Frank, not just struggling, but people are feeling impatient. They are frustrated. Remember, they're also dealing with flooding within their own homes, and much of the county here is still without power. This is perhaps maybe the second gas station we've seen here in Lakeland where they actually have gas, and people who rode out that line say it's about a 45-minute to an hour wait. I can't even show you how long this line extends. It's just going bumper to bumper on the right shoulder of US 98 over here. Now, some stations simply just do not have fuel. Any sight of a fuel tanker is drawing a lot of people to those gas stations, to only find out the people here in line tell me they're dealing with flooding in their homes. They need those supplies and they need to get gas as well. We spoke with some desperate to get some of that gas, and they tell me they are frustrated. Take a listen.
I just think it's that the government's not having everything taken care of.
You think they should have been better prepared here?
I honestly think everybody should have been better prepared.
We on EE, we running on faith, baby. We on EE, but hey, God got us, so you know, we holding up.
Clearly, some people there are making the most of the situation, but as you can see, people here are frustrated. The state does say they have hundreds of thousands of gallons of fuel as emergency fuel. People here want to see it very quickly. Even the Pasco County Sheriff's Office is asking people to be patient. They say they've gotten numerous calls for service because of the number of run-ins with people at those gas stations, because the tension is so high. But as you can still see here, a lot of desperate need for the gas. A lot of people still rebuilding. This is the last thing they want to deal with, and they hope more stations can open up and have some of that fuel readily available. Frank and Courtney.
You got a smile right there, Miguel. That lady clinging to faith, as she says, that's what's carrying her through that line, a long line at that. You know, we have continuing team coverage from Pinellas County beaches.
It was a 1-2 punch for our coastline. First hit hard by Helene and now Milton. Plus, Florida emergency managers have a strong message for you this Friday as many see the damage and take action. You're watching 10 Tampa Bay.
As we all begin to recover from Milton,
we still got a lot of it to deal with.
Know that 10 Tampa Bay is here for you.
They have prepared, they're evacuating, and now they're just hoping.
In your communities.
They also have reports of down power lines.
As we all rebuild from back-to-back hurricanes.
Cleaning up and being really grateful.
And if your power is out, remember you can still watch 10 Tampa Bay Plus on your tablet or on our mobile app.
We are Florida strong, though, as we like to say.
This storm season, stay informed, prepared, and connected. Stream the 10 Tampa Bay Plus app on your TV or tablet for storm coverage and more. Download now. Now on 10 Tampa Bay, recovering from Hurricane Milton. Live team coverage starts now.
And right now on Anna Maria Island, work is happening this afternoon to get people back to their homes.
Right now, work crews are cleaning debris from roads in Holmes Beach.
The police found many downed trees, of course, down power lines. There was a ton of debris on beach roads. They say there's no timeline of when you'll be able to be allowed back onto the island. Officers say that cell service is very spotty if you can get it. And if you're trying to reach someone, they probably will not be able to answer.
But we need you to stay out of our way, just simply put. We don't need you out there sightseeing. We saw it yesterday in Siesta Key, people driving around, videoing and all that. Stay out of the way. We really, really need your cooperation on this.
Stay out the way, a common refrain there in Hurricane Milton, sending another gut punch to the barrier islands.
In Pinellas County, cleanup of sand and debris wasn't even close to being finished. And now those same hurricane victims, they are starting this process all over again, this time with more damage. Luke Cleary from our sister station joins us live here in Pinellas County. And Luke, I just can't begin to imagine how these people are feeling. And you've been able to talk with them. What do you even do?
Yeah, guys, you know, the recovery process from Hurricane Helene had only just begun when word of Hurricane Milton growing in the Gulf started to spread here on St. Pete Beach. And just take a look here. You can see the damage still, and it's hard to tell at this point. These two massive events, the damage from the two of them starting to blend into one another. This is the Dolphin Beach Resort here on St. Pete Beach. Doors, the windows here boarded up, and Flipper's Beach Bar over here in very bad shape. As you can see there, the boards just splintered into pieces. This is going to take a significant amount of work to bring this resort back into working order. And this is the scene that you will find across St. Pete Beach area and throughout the barrier islands. On the way in, the bridges are back open, and so you can drive up and down the streets. Properties here have massive amounts of debris sitting outside for pickup. The sand is still there in some areas. And while there was a major concern that all of that debris could pick up in the wind and turn into projectiles, for the most part, what I can tell you from our very brief time here on the beach so far is that it appears that many of those debris piles are more or less intact. There is some spread out onto the roads, but this is still a very serious issue. It's going to take enormous amount of effort and expense to bring these in order. And just think of the economic impact here. This area is dependent on tourism. These smaller resorts employing hundreds, thousands of service workers that are going to be out of work until they're brought back online. Tourism here will be at a virtual standstill for quite some time. We were talking to a man who was working with a restoration company at the Postcard Inn. He told us that there were downed power lines near their pool and bar area, so it could be some time before anyone's even able to get in to do the work that is necessary to bring back St. Pete Beach.
That's so true, Luke. Thank you so much. It is heartbreaking to see our community like this, the areas that we love. I was talking with family out of state and, just explaining the damage. And I said, it's almost, I know it was not a Category 5 storm, but it's really kind of the worst because we had the worst of what we could get with storm surge from Helene. And then we had these really powerful winds. So it happened so closely together. It was like one just
It's like
massive.
one big thing. That's actually a great point because we've got the flooding that we're going to start with here from the rainfall, as you mentioned, all that damage, but the wind is more widespread damage than anything else with all the power outages, and that's really slow to come back. Let's start with rivers. That's the more pertinent thing here. We've got life-threatening situations going on right now. almost 20 inches of rainfall. All right, and so Pinellas County, Western Hillsborough, central and western numbers, anywhere from about 15 to 19 inches of rainfall. Tampa International itself actually saw just better than a foot. So let's talk about those rivers. All right, so we started the show with the Anclote River, and you can see where it is now. It looks like it might have crested, which is not doing any good at this point, but that is help you feel better that it will start to go back down a little bit. Just shy of the all-time record, 27.7. It made it about 26.5. We'll have to watch that, but a lot of it has started to crest. So that's good news. We'll see that. Now, the Alafaya River. It looks to me like it may have crested. The original forecast was a little bit more than where it is. This just below the all-time record, but these are in major flood stage, right? And they're slow to come down too. This is not like storm surge that just gets blown in and then it blows right back out. It takes time for that water to drain all the way down. And what we look at here is when it crests. When does it get as high as it's going to be? Because then if you're living there, you know, okay, that water will slowly drop. But here's the problem. It's a slow drop. This goes all the way out through the 14th, through the 15th and 16th. By about the 15th or so, it's starting to fall below major. So you have to sit to slow go over it. Now, the Little Manatee River, this is near Waimama, that has crested and that is on its way down, and that will be dropping a little bit quicker, but still we're talking through, 3 more days or so of very high water, and then it'll start to come back down. Now, some good news is we don't have any rain out there. We do have some low clouds. In fact, we have some showers well off to the south from where we're looking here, but in the Tampa area, we don't. 81 degrees, 66 degree dew point. It's warm, but that's a little bit more comfortable than where we have been, so that's okay. There are the showers down to the south, but you can see quite a few clouds coming up. That's not bad either. That gives us a little bit cooler weather, right? It's just block us from the sun a little bit. 80 in Port Manatee, 81 in Lakewood Ranch. We've got 84 in Wesley Chapel with more sunshine, 82 in Newport Richey, 81 in Tampa, Brooksville, and Crystal River right now. So back down slowly through the 70s into the upper 60s again for tonight. Nice little breeze at times, 5 to 10 miles per hour, goes 10 to 15 at times, but that's about it. Generally out of the north and the east. Forecast through 8:30 this evening. We'll have a few more clouds south of I-4. We will clear up a little bit, and I think that geomagnetic storm is still going on. I took pictures of the northern lights from my backyard last night in northwest Hillsborough. You should be able to see it again, I think, tonight. I'll check on that and have that coming up for you in just a minute. This is Saturday afternoon. Clouds will go partly cloudy. We'll see just a 10% chance for a shower. Not much rain in the extended forecast either, so those water levels should be allowed to continue to drop. Down through the 70s for this evening. It's going to be 9 or 10 o'clock once we get below 75 degrees if you're still without power and want some cooler air for AC. 84 tomorrow, 10 to 20% chance for a shower. I don't think we see a lot of it. This is Tuesday into Wednesday. That's when that drier, cooler air, it's a pretty good cold front coming through here, and you can see that brown. That's going to bring in all of that cooler in the 70s to near 80 degrees. Look at Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll see some 50s in our cool spots as we wake up each morning, especially Thursday morning and Friday morning.
You are seeing photos and videos of Milton's destruction all over social media. Some aren't real, some not from this storm. In minutes, 10 Tampa Bay shows you how to verify what's legit.
Welcome back. Earlier, we showed you video of Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office rescuing folks in rising water from the Alafaya River.
10 Tampa Bay's Jennifer Titus was also out on a boat as this happened just hours ago and shares more now. Jen, thank you, bringing us a look at just how high that water is on the Alafaya. There is a path of destruction this afternoon as Milton made landfall Wednesday night at 8:30 on Siesta Key. You can see the before and after of satellite images which show us what the storm unleashed on the area. This is Tropicana Field. Damage to hangars as well at Albert Whitted Airport. There was before and after of Carolou Yacht Club in Clearwater. And we also saw the damage in Sarasota to St. Armand's Key as well. But not all these images show the truth. There are pictures and videos being shared that claim to show devastation from Hurricane Milton.
Ariane Detil with our National Verify team breaking down what's real and what's not. You got to verify there. By the way, we know there are a lot of questions out there following the aftermath of the storm. So during an hour-long special on our 10 Tampa Bay Plus app, we spoke with some experts from FEMA and in the fields of insurance, electricity, tree trimming, as well as pest control about what to do before and after storms. It's what you need to know about trees on your property.
If it's a hazardous tree, most dangerous piece of equipment ever designed was a chainsaw. So if you're not a professional, don't attempt it. Bring in somebody, have the tree cut up, they can haul it off. If you can get the debris to the street yourself, get it to the street, pile it up separately, as they were saying, from the household debris.
Talked a lot about that right there. By the way, you can watch the entire Ask the Expert special right now on that free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app. Just download it on your streaming device or smart TV.
This afternoon, growing backlash. A crane left up during Milton fell from the sky. Still ahead, Florida's governor takes aim at developers.
Now on 10 Tampa Bay, recovering from Hurricane Milton. Live team coverage starts now.
Struggle again. Communities recovering across the Tampa Bay area after the second major hurricane making landfall along the Florida Gulf Coast in just 2 weeks. You're watching a special edition of 10 Tampa Bay. I'm Frank Wiley.
And I'm certainly thinking about all of you. I know that this is difficult. I'm Courtney Robinson, and we're bringing you live coverage right now of Milton's aftermath across the Tampa Bay area from our inland community. Is looking like this afternoon.
But first, check out this drone footage of Florida Power and Light crews preparing for a day of turning the lights back on. For thousands of people out there, you're probably dealing with this as well. This is Florida Power and Light's staging area. That's in Sarasota as one of this afternoon. This, more than 200,000 people are the numbers. FPL customers without power in Sarasota and Manatee counties alone. More than 2.2 million customers still without power across the state.
And I want you to take a look at this. This is what Tampa International Airport looked like after the storm moved. Well, this is it this morning as that first flight finally took off again. The damage to the airport was widespread. We saw leaks, there was some flooding, but it has been fixed. The airport opened today. Right now, more than 100 flights are canceled. Nearly 70 are delayed. Now, in less than an hour, St. Pete International Airport will reopen at 4 o'clock. The Sarasota Bradenton Airport will reopen tomorrow morning at 6.
And tonight, calls for accountability coming from Governor DeSantis. In the last few hours, the state questioning why a crane was not taken down in St. Pete before the storm. A large crane now sprawled across a major section of downtown St. Pete. That crash causing significant damage to the Times building right now. 1st Avenue North to 1st Avenue South and 3rd Street to 5th Street. Last Friday, over the weekend, they had conversations with the development company of 400 Central, but the company told the city it would take days to dismantle the crane. State leaders questioning Pinellas County's proactive safety measures.
We need construction workers to have a plan, and you've got to have those contingencies. I mean, it's not like this snuck out from anywhere. I mean, we had strong 7 to 10 days notice that things were heading in this direction. If you go back and look at the previous 7 days prior to landfall, it was constantly being called for, the greater Tampa Bay region.
Guthrie says local leaders should be telling companies all permitted work needs to be secured. The residences at 400 Central say they are flying in engineers right now to assess the crane. And in a statement, the condo company is saying, "We are grateful no one was injured in the area and that the only damage was to bricks, not people." They say they will continue to work on building as soon as possible. And the 400 Central, when done, will be the tallest residential building in Tampa Bay. Developers telling 10 Tampa Bay back in March it was supposed to be 50 stories tall, but was capped at 46 because of the nearby Albert Whitted Airport. And as you know, widespread damage has been seen across the area.
Let's check in on Manatee County. The focus right now on the barrier islands. There is catastrophic damage there. 10 Tampa Bay's Emerald Morrow is joining us live. And Emerald, it is just so heartbreaking. On Anna Maria Island, I heard it described as a war zone. You're there on Holmes Beach.
Actually, Courtney, we were initially on Holmes Beach. We moved up to Anna Maria on Anna Maria Island, and I just want you to take a look at the devastation that you see behind me as we look out over the water. This is a place that so many people come to vacation. So many memories are made here. This is a place that is famous all around the world, and there is a lot of devastation. However, not far away from that devastation, there are still a lot of places that are intact. This area did not get the storm surge that it expected to get, and I'm told that actually Helene caused more water damage than Milton. However, I want you to take a look at this picture, this VO, we call it VO, that we have of Rod and Reel Pier. This was established in 1947. This was a place that a lot of people come to, a lot of people love visiting. Just get a good look of that before, because many of you have probably seen some of the images floating online of the after. So if we come back out here live, there is nothing left of the Rod and Reel Pier on Anna Maria Island. It has completely vanished into the Gulf of Mexico. That is the power of Hurricane Milton. I've seen so many people talking about the memories that they have had here, even the sheriff's deputy that escorted us into this area, talking about how he just couldn't believe what he was seeing as he came over to look at the devastation out here. I'm also told by the Holmes Beach Police Chief that you want to come right now. They will be opening things up to people who live here in the area tomorrow, but they do not want visitors at this time. As you can see, there's a lot of damage. There's a lot to clean up. They're still working on cleaning up down power lines and things like that. So there's still some danger in this area. So please keep that in mind. I know a lot of people are anxious. I'm told this is going to take months to get back to where it once was. So please keep that in mind and keep everyone in your thoughts as recovery takes place here on Anna Maria Island. Back to you.
Yeah, certainly. Just a couple months ago, I have my kid's picture right there at the Rod and Reel. A lot of memories lost, certainly, in this storm. And right now, there is still more concern because if you live in Pasco County, in low-lying areas, there is a risk for flooding at this very moment, and officials are urging some to evacuate again.
Yet again, a voluntary evacuation in effect with the threat of potential river flooding. It's in Tampa. Warnings in effect right now, and we use the word voluntary at this point.
Now, Frank, the message here has been this water is still quickly rising. So if you live or work in an area that sees flooding from rivers and lakes, you're urged to get out now. We're in Elfers right now. We're at the intersection, near the intersection of 54 and Seven Springs Boulevard. There's a shopping plaza over here with Papa John's and Crunch Fitness. That's the Crunch Fitness parking lot right there that looks like a pond or a lake in itself. Now, this is historic flooding in Pasco County. The Anclote River is roughly 0.3 miles in this direction. The flood stage for the Anclote right now sits at more than 26 feet, according to NOAA. Now, a man who owns a restaurant in this plaza says this level of flooding caught many of them off guard.
We thought we were in the clear. And then we started hearing yesterday of the Anclote could crest at almost a record height. And this has been like watching paint dry. It just keeps creeping and creeping, and we keep hearing that it's going to crest, but we haven't actually seen the crest yet.
Pasco County has been doing nonstop high water evacuations for people in these flood zones since early yesterday. And now Pasco officials, they're urging people to also stay off the roads. If you must travel around the counties, be aware that dozens of these roads are flooded, they're closed, and you will have to figure out how to navigate around them safely. Also urging you tonight, a reminder, do not drive through the flooded water, the flooded streets. Now, the Anclote is expected to be going down right now. However, there are several other rivers that are expected to peak into the weekend, even early next week. Hillsborough River, we're told, has many people in neighborhoods in Zephyr Hills seeing high water evacuations right now because that's at a major flood stage. And then the Withlacoochee is expected to peak early next week. So in Hernando County, they are also urging people to evacuate now if you do believe you are in an affected area. So just reminders tonight, these waters, they're still rising. It's happening quickly, and to take care of you and your family and get to higher ground. In Elfers, Hannah Deneen, 10 Tampa Bay.
Parking lots look like lakes, roads look like rivers in some spots. Of course, we are continuing to follow recovery efforts after Milton across the Tampa Bay area.
Yeah, in just 3 minutes, the desperate search for gas. You'll see what law enforcement's doing to calm the chaos and help you fill up. Plus, as you survey what you lost and what you still have, 10 Tampa Bay gets you prepared to file a claim, what you'll need to do now for insurance.
maybe you're in this number right here, because right now Florida drivers are waiting in long lines trying to get a hold of some gas. Some cases, folks are coming up empty even after waiting.
Yeah, a lot of texting to find out, hey, have you found gas? You know any stations that may have it? 10 Tampa Bay's Nick Valturo is in Bradenton, where the hunt for fuel now involves law enforcement.
All right, so that's a tough situation. I remember in Irma, the evacuation started so early. 6.5 million people evacuated the state. It's the largest evacuation in the state's history because it was going up the East Coast and the West Coast and then up the center. So the East Coast people left. West Coast people left, and 4, 5, 6 days in advance, they brought gas back down before the storm got here. I don't think that happened in this case. And so now, and I saw, I don't know what it's worth, this guy said it'd be there at 1,700 hours today, 5 o'clock. So they're trucking it back down is what we're hearing now.
Yeah, people are going to be watching the clock there. Just a traffic jam. It looks like a parking lot in some spaces on the road as people come back. Bobby, interesting concept, right? So we're not seeing rain right now, but we're still seeing rising levels of water.
Great point. My wife came to me, it's a flood warning. Even my son, one of my sons said, how's there a flood warning? That's the river flood warning. So if you get that on your phone or you see that alert, that's for the rivers. That's not for anybody else. But those poor people now, I mean, the rivers are starting to crest here the next 24 to 36 hours. And so that's what that flood warning is for. It's for the specific rivers and not most neighborhoods at this point. All right, let's get you outside right now. Let's take you to I-4 out in Plant City, because I saw pictures earlier today of it being a parking lot with people coming back from Orlando, but that's the westbound lanes right there. This is the eastbound, of course. Things are actually looking pretty good right now, at least in the Plant City area, so that's some good news. Some gray skies out there. We had some sunshine. The clouds have filled in a little bit. Small chance for a shower. It's not a big deal. 81 feels like 83, and the dew point is 66. It's not super comfortable, right? But it's not 70-something that we've had for so long. So it is a little bit better out there. And when you get that number 66, right, with that dew point number is about as low as the temperature is going to go in the morning, late night, early morning. So we're going to be back down in the upper 60s again for tonight. Rain. We do have some rain in southern Highlands County and DeSoto County, basically south of Arcadia. But Arcadia, we're going to have a small chance for a shower. I think we stay dry in the Bay Area, but you see a couple little spots for Hernando, even Citrus. Quick sprinkle, if that. All right, that would be it. Big picture shows the front to our north and west, but this is one great big area of high pressure. That's what got that cooler air back down in here behind Milton. You can still see it in the mid-Atlantic, 73 in Wilmington, 70 in D.C., 68 in Boston, while it's 81 in Chicago, 91 in southwest parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma at 88 degrees. Midland, Texas at 90. Some of this will come our way, but it's more like the mid-80s as we get going into the rest of the week. More sunshine there than we did down south in Lakewood Ranch, where it's 81. Bartow's there, 82 right now out in Lakeland. Tampa, we've got wind out of the northeast at 10 miles per hour. There have been some gusts down south, Highlands County, Hardee County, 15 to 20 mile per hour wind gusts, just a little breeze. This is the forecast through 8:30 tonight, and you can see most areas stay dry. It's not picking up too much on that rain down south, but I do think we'll have a few showers southern Highlands County. Tomorrow morning, 8:30, lots of sunshine, northeast winds around 10 miles per hour. Yeah, look at that temperature in the upper right here. 69 degrees. It's going to feel nice out there. A touch warmer than this morning, but not by much. And then as we get into Saturday afternoon, this is around 6 o'clock, partly cloudy skies. I think most areas stay dry. I think I put 10% chance for a shower. There's just not a lot out there for tomorrow. So here we go, down through the 70s into the upper 60s for lows for tomorrow morning. Below 75 after about 9:30, 10 o'clock for tonight. Just a touch warmer than where we were last night. And tomorrow we're going to 84, right where we were today. Just about 10%, 20% chance for a shower. Drier air pushes in Monday into Tuesday. And then Tuesday we're trying to get a secondary shot. I think it's going to be really close, but that should really help to cut the rain off, keep it off through Friday. What is this down here? You've probably heard a little bit of tropical mess on the internet. Right now, the GFS model does do something in the Western Caribbean, but takes it into the Yucatan. So we're keeping an eye on it. Still that time of year, but don't buy into the hype just yet. All right, moisture content. This is a very low number. That means those afternoon showers and storms, you can get them once in a blue moon, but nothing like summertime. And that's that brown I was showing you on the map. That's the drier air coming in. There's your 7-day forecast. And, you know, we had for Wednesday and Thursday temperatures in the upper 70s. Now it's close to 80. That's kind of typical. You think you're getting a really good cold front, and then you end up only getting a taste of it. It's still going to feel nice. Upper 50s for lows, low 60s at the coast, and then temperatures in the upper 70s to near 80 for both Wednesday and Thursday.
Bobby, thank you. Today, the concern concern is how to even begin to replace everything that you lost. So what are you going to need to show your insurance provider to cover the cost to rebuild? 10 Tampa Bay had various experts weigh in. They gave this advice.
The big thing would be document everything. So before you start ripping anything out, take pictures of it. If you've looked at your house already, you've probably already seen that water line is starting to go away. Sharpie it on the wall. Really show where that water line was. Take pictures of it compared to other objects so that when your adjuster does come out, they're able to see it.
And documentation is going to make all of this so much easier to make sure that your claim is processed quickly. You can watch the entire Ask the Expert special right now on the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app on your favorite streaming device or smart TV.
Got to keep the receipts. You know what? It is common before and after the storm to see some businesses increase prices. That includes gas, goods, and places to stay. Well, tonight, 10 Investigates Jen Titus explaining how to know if you're being gouged. Don't get got. Born in the storm. So in the next 3 minutes, we want to show you what happened after a local woman went into labor as Hurricane Milton swirled outside.
10 Tampa Bay's Storm Recovery Special. Ask the Experts answered your hurricane-related questions.
We are here to get you the help you need.
From insurance to filing with FEMA, tree removal, and more.
When you start tearing into things that have visible mold on it, the spores can get in the air.
Even if you didn't experience damage, it can help you prepare for future storms.
Can a renter get help from FEMA?
Absolutely. Stream it today on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. Search Storm Recovery. Ask the Experts.
Watch NFL football this weekend on 10 Tampa Bay and CBS. For the perfect tailgate vehicle, visit your Suncoast Hyundai dealer. There's joy in every journey.
Hey, before we get you out of here, we want to give you a reason to smile. A Polk County family said goodbye to Hurricane Milton while saying hello to a bouncing baby girl. Thanks in part to sheriff's deputies, too. Meet baby Jade and her mom, Zanaya. Mom went into labor around 3 Thursday morning, rushed the mother and the father-to-be to the hospital as the storm still swirled outside. We heard it, too. Zanaya gave birth to Jade about 10 hours later. This is one of baby Jade's first photos, too, complete with the deputies who helped her enter this world. And Jade can officially say, guess what, y'all? I made it through my first hurricane.
Yes.
10 Tampa Bay is here for you every single step of the way. Download the free 10 Tampa Bay Plus app on your favorite streaming device. That's where you can find all of the resources available in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton. There is a lot of good that's coming out of this. I know that you're going through a lot of bad, too. We're going to do all of this together. We'll have much more live team coverage coming up for you on 10 Tampa Bay at 5. Have a good day.
Continuing coverage of Hurricane Milton on 10 Tampa Bay.